Hey, welcome back to Robinson Foundry. In this video, I'll be making some simple Kiridashi style knives. I'm going to make these knives out of aluminum bronze, which is a surprisingly strong metal alloy that's actually capable of holding a sharp edge. I used CAD to design them, and then I cut the shapes out of a piece of foam with my CO2 laser cutter. Of course, this is a really complex way of doing this. All you need is a thin piece of foam and a knife to cut the shape out with. Once I had the shapes cut out, I experimented with pressing different patterns into the foam, and I eventually settled on this simple hammered look. All of these little indentations ended up in the finished castings because, to make these knives, I used a method called lost foam casting. In its most basic form, this is a method where a styrofoam object is buried in sand and molten metal is poured onto it, instantly vaporizing the foam and taking its shape. Next, I used an oil-bonded sand called Petrobond to make a simple mold. Traditionally, patterns are used to make a mold and then they're removed. With the lost foam method, the foam patterns are left inside the mold and burned away by the metal. Aluminum bronze alloys can have a lot of different compositions, but for this casting, I used 90% copper and 10% aluminum. I have some left over from a recent casting, so I used this instead of starting from scratch. I have experience with using this specific alloy, and I know it's very hard and it will actually hold an edge fairly well. This amount took about 30 minutes to melt. I let the aluminum bronze heat up to about 2100 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I poured it into the mold as quickly as possible. After about 20 minutes, I opened it up to see how the castings turned out. Fortunately, the mold filled out properly, and I was happy to see that the castings looked really good. Next, I went to work cutting and grinding off the excess metal. Some of you may remember when I made this knife. Well, this is aluminum bronze also, and I spent hours grinding the bevel into the blade by hand. Fortunately, I won't have to do that this time because I bought one of these very inexpensive 2x42 belt grinders. I spent some time retrofitting it, and now it's a pretty useful little belt grinder that made grinding this hard aluminum bronze really easy. Next, I used a die grinder, which made quick work of polishing the surfaces and uncovering all the little impressions I made in the styrofoam. I have virtually zero experience grinding knives on a belt grinder, so I was a little hesitant to begin on these, but once I got going, I started to get the hang of it. I'm really happy with how these grinds turned out. They're nice and uniform, and the bevels meet up right in the center of the blade. As a bit of an afterthought, I decided that I would drill a hole in the handles for a lanyard. The last step was to sharpen up the edges with a diamond sharpening steel, and these little knives were done. Let's see how well the edges hold up against some cardboard and paracord. Well, it's definitely not hardened steel, but the edge actually holds up pretty well for what it is. It's amazing to me that you can just mix two soft metals together and then end up with an alloy this hard. I thought this would be a good project to demonstrate how you really don't need complex patterns to make something like these knives. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make these, and if you did, please let me know what you think in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. As usual, I'll have affiliate links in the description for things I've used in this video, as well as things that I would recommend. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.